Good morning, students. Welcome to Kyiv Education International School. Today it's part 3 of lesson 1. It's the lesson check and lesson roundup. So get your books ready and follow me. We're doing pages from 419 until 421. Let's get started. Okay, we will go straight to number 2 because in number 1 it's asking you questions are very much related to things you have not taken yet in lesson 2. Maybe we'll get back to it after we're done with lesson 2. So on checkpoints, it's asking you to label each picture with the name of the tool used to measure the weather condition. And if it's not measurable or something you cannot measure with a tool, you write observation. So the thing is, the adjective is measurable. So the first picture is showing you a heavy rainfall. What do we measure that? With a rain gauge. The second one, we call these guys, this frozen water that's hanging, what do we call them, We call them icicle. You're going to see how it's written in the next slides. Icicle. So icicle are measured how? We don't measure the icicles. Icicles are a result. But they're a result of what? They are a result of cold weather. So how do we measure that? With a temperature or thermometer, okay? With a thermometer. And the third one here, cloudy. Well, how do you measure cloudy weather? You don't measure it. Actually, you only observe it. So this is observation goes into here. And here you see the swirls of dust and dry leaves. This is not a weather, but this is a result of the wind. So how do we measure this? We measure this with a wind vane. So here we hear rain gauge, thermometer, observation, and a wind vane. If we go to number 3, record the measurements shown on the lines below each tool. Now, if you look closely at the first one, if you look closely at the first one, it's almost here. This is the 90 line. This is 94, and this is very important. You need always to indicate the unit you use. It's Fahrenheit. The rain gauge, look over here. This is almost marking at number 2. So it's 2. Never leave 2 without unit. It's 2 inches. This is very important, guys. If you had an exam and you put 2 without inches or 94 without degrees, I'll put you a 0. This is very important. And if you look at the wind vane, the direction of the bird face is going toward the east. So this is from the east. Again, I know this is terrible handwriting, but this is the maximum it gives you. So we have 94 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 inches, and the direction of wind is from the east. Now on number 3 here, the question is asking us to use the graphs to answer question 4 through 6 and select all the correct answers that apply. We call this graph, okay? What is a graph? A graph is usually used for observation. We observe a certain pattern of data. We put month here if we study them closely. This is how you study graphs. First, you see this axis. This axis, we call this axis, and this we call it an axis, okay? This axis has a month, and this axis has temperature. So what does that mean? From April to September, we're recording the temperature every month. And what unit we're using here? Fahrenheit. And what is the scale? From 0 to 90. So we're recording temperature over 6 months for a temperature in Fahrenheit. For a special area, let's see what the data has in here. It's not mentioning any country, it's not mentioning any place, it's just saying that we're recording or observing the temperature every month over the course of 6 months for the first one, okay? Sometimes in other graphs you will find the geographical location, you will find so many other data, but this is very simple. And if we look at the trend, there's something called trend. The trend, it means if the data is going up, going down, staying stable. This is very good for you to practice how to read graphs and diagrams. If you look at temperatures from April to June, they are increasing until they reach July and August. They're stable, and then they start going down, and this is normal because right after we finish from the winter, from April, it will start getting higher until August, and will go down again in September because they're going to be fall. The autumn is going to start, and we have a drop in temperature. So this is a very reasonable graph. Now we go to the next graph to analyze it. We have here month, Okay, this axis has the month, the same period of time from April to September over the course of 6 months. And here we have the rainfall or the precipitation in inches. Okay, the minimum value is 0, the highest value is 6. And we have April, May are almost very close. There's a huge drop in June, and that was very awkward that we have a very high rainfall in July. Okay, and then this is the minimal. So August and September are very reasonable. We usually don't have much rain August and September, but July here was not very reasonable. This is how we analyze data. Let's go to the question and see what they're trying to figure out. On number 4, it's asking us which month or months had higher temperatures than those in September. So which one has the highest temperature than September? So we're comparing to September, okay? And the answer here is June. June has a temperature higher than September. So we're comparing this one to this one. He's not saying the highest temperature. He says higher temperatures than those in September. So on number 5, he's asking which 2 months combined had the same amount of rainfall as that in July. Remember, guys, we took this so many times when we were analyzing graphs in chapter 2. We said 2 months combined. It means we're adding. There's an addition. You're adding 2 months. So which 2 months combined have? Okay, so the answer should be 2 months because we're asking combined. Which one is in comparison? July. So this is July, which I said the biggest one, and is asking which 2 months are combined. They will be, look here at the graph, 1, 2. You will try to get this. This is almost 1.5. This is almost a half. This is almost 2. This is almost, let's say, 3.5, and this is almost 4, where this is almost 5. So the most reasonable answer in this case will be August and May. So this is, guys, more closely to an estimation, okay? Show me if you have other answers, I would like to know, but these are estimations, okay? But this is how we study the word combined. Combined means we have 2 values that we need to add up to get to the comparison result. Now, number 6 is asking about how much warmer was it in July than in May. So again, warmer means we're discussing temperature. Okay, so we will go back to the temperature graph, and here asking how much warmer. Remember, guys, this is how much warmer, how much less, how much more, how many fewer. These are terms we use when we make subtraction. We subtract value to get the difference. These are difference terms in order to get the value. So how much warmer was it in July than in May? So what are the month of comparison here? We have July and we have May. July was almost like 80 and May was almost like, just like here. Okay, just like almost 65. So we're comparing 65 to 80. Want to get the difference, 80 minus 65, it's going to be 15 degrees. Okay, I hope this is understood. You understand the question. You go back to the graph, you analyze it, and you have questions, just let me know. Now the lesson roundup, when we go to the lesson roundup, it has A and B, and the question is asking you to circle all the words below that describe types of weather. Okay, so puddle is not a description of weather. We said it's a result or an effect of the weather. Fog, yes it is. And rain, yes it is. Tornado, yes it is. Cloudy, true as well. Hail, you know what the hail is? The very solidified water that goes down. It's not snow, but it's very much like stones that falls down very hard. We call it hail. Icicle, it is not. And a fallen tree, also it is not. It's only a result of the wind. So if you're wondering what an icicle is, icicle, we saw it in the previous picture. It's the hanging frozen water. We call it an icicle. Okay, so if you go back to the pictures we discussed, that's the icicle. And on B, it's asking you to read the information from weather instruments and record them on the lines. Again, we need to find the measurements. Here at the scale of Fahrenheit in centigrade or Celsius, it's 82. It's almost 82 degrees. Again, guys, Fahrenheit, if you are in exam, if you don't put a Fahrenheit or inch next to your measurement, you will get a 0. This is very important, okay? And here the direction of the wind. This is very obvious. If you look at the cuckoo, the first look, you might think it's pointed to the north, but if you look closer one more time with the arrow, and it's giving you this yellow arrow to help you identify the location, it's from the east. And then the third image, it has this rain gauge, and the measurement is almost 3 inches. Okay, move on. Now here on C, it's asking you to circle the bar graph that correctly shows the temperature data in the table, and we have the average high temperature. So we need to find these months belong to which bar graph of these. We will take a closer look. Before we start, we need to see what the graphs are talking about. These are mainly all month plotted versus temperature, month, temperature, month, temperature. But what is the difference here? Here it's covering the months from January to March, from April to June, from July to September, and from October to December. So it's asking you which months have those temperatures. Let's take a quick look. Here it's from 60 up until 85, so it does not apply. Here almost 90. In here we have like 78, 79. And here almost 85, and here almost 90, which is very close to these. And we will take a final look to make sure that our answer is correct. These are all 85, 65 and below. So the temperature are mainly these one matching the one in the table. So that was it for today. See you again in another lesson. Stay safe, stay at home, wash your hands. All the love. Bye-bye.